Right, since we last spoke, I've started doing some fixing up on this Aeon 300 quad. This rear diff I've reassembled and fixed onto in position, as you can see. I completely forgot to do any recordings while I was busy with it. And then I also changed the little rubber boot over here, replaced it. The old one is completely perished. It just basically protects over UV joints. So now I'm putting back on the wheels again. Straightforward. And it's around here I realized I actually put the wheels on the wrong way around. The one side's quite shallow and the other side's quite deep, and in all honesty I didn't even give it any thought. So off the wheels come, flip them around, and back on they go. Right, now just a little bit of air pressure in the wheels. Quad bikes, you don't use much air pressure, so we pump about 1 bar max in it. Normally you don't even need that amount. Right, so I've connected up the battery. Let's see if we have any luck. Okay, and it turns on. Even swings. Right, well there we have it. It's clearly got some issues I need to address. There seems to be the clutch or the belt that's possibly slipping. So I'll need to have a look at that, which will be located behind this cover over here. Pretty much doesn't go. And then there's some electrical issues that I can immediately see. I need to fix the headlights and stuff. Some of the neutral lights and low and high range and reverse lights, they also don't work. And the other thing I've got here is the clutch lever, the choke. You can see how this cable just bulges here. It seems to have seized within the cable itself, so I'll need to take a look at that, and it'll probably be a good idea to take the carb out and give it a good clean. So these CVT type clutch transmissions normally run dry, no oil, but as you can see, this thing's got a drain bolt over there, which is quite strange. And these air ducts here, which is for air to circulate, to keep it cool. I'm getting oil coming out here, which is dripping down at the bottom. So I'm wondering if there isn't getting oil in there by the belt. Maybe a seal's leaking somewhere. Now the belt's full of oil, and of course everything's just going to slip, which would explain why it's not engaging, or why it feels like the clutch isn't gripping properly, but it's probably all drenched in oil. So let's have a look at that. Let's remove this cover, pull out the drain bolt, let's drain the oil, pull out the cover, and let's see what surprises wait for us behind here. Unfortunately, I forgot to press record when I was removing this cover, but anyway, now that it's off, you can see everything is full of oil. It's not correct. I'm not sure where the oil's coming from. I'll have to remove both that front clutch and rear clutch, the pulleys, and have a look. I suspect might be coming from the engine, so the seal might be broken behind the engine and it's draining through to here. Alternatively, it also has a separate gearbox which has separate oil, once again behind this clutch section. That's probably where it would be sitting. So after a bit of a closer inspection, I think I might have found the problem is where this oil's coming from. And first of all, I noticed this oil smells like it's got a distinctive gearbox oil smell to it. We'll take all that stuff off and see what it is. I'm not going to record all this because my battery is about to drain, so I will record it in steps. So after a massive struggle, I managed to get the flywheel off. Once again, now you can see nicely. Let's see if I can get it even closer. As I move this up and down, its seal over here is definitely shot, so I'll have to pull that out and replace it. Right, so I've cleaned up all these clutch bits here, all this greasy griminess off it. The stuff's all been degreased nicely. The clutch actually looks quite fine. There's the clutches, everything, so I don't think we'll have a problem there. And on the actual quad, I have degreased the whole inside over here. Now the next problem that I want to attend to is, well, this is open, is the neutral light and high range and low range lights on the dash don't come on. As you see, if I turn it on, they flash when you turn it on, so clearly the lights itself are working, but it doesn't matter what position I put it on, those lights don't come on. So I suspect the switch is faulty, which is this switch here. I'll remove this and have a look behind it and see what's wrong with the switch. While I was busy yesterday as well, I drained all the fluids from here, the oil from the gearbox and the engine. They both got separate oil. Gearbox oil was very clean and everything, so that's good, but very little came out, so I suspect it's been seeping through to this clutch section. Engine oil was as black as it can be, and very, very thin, so it clearly hadn't been changed in quite a while. So I will top all those fluids up too soon. Right, let's see what's waiting for us behind here. Not really very much to see, eh? Wipe that off. Okay, it's clearly very simple what's here. You can see on there, there's 3 contact points, and there's a little contact thing there which obviously touches on the corresponding ones. I suspect it's possibly a case of just plain and simply not making good contact anymore. Although I'm sure that something like this should actually have a spring in there that presses it out. That doesn't have a spring. So, right, so it was exactly like I was thinking. I drilled a little hole into that little brass part, put a screw in there to pull it out, and it's actually got a little spring at the back of the screw, this little brass piece. So it was exactly as I thought it had. Jammed up, seized up in there, and obviously just wasn't making contact. So let's see what I can do about fixing that, making a new part there. As you can see, I've put it back in. I made a new little brass pin with a spring in there, so I'm about to test to see if that switch works now. I see we have a neutral light already, so let's put it into reverse. Reverse light comes on, neutral, high range doesn't have a light, low range. Perfect. Right, it's time to reassemble all these bits. This is your main rear end pulley. It's going to grease up the bearing on the inside. That's all it takes, is a little bit of grease in there. Right, there's nothing else to that. This goes on here. That's done. This is the variator, as they call it. Generally these things run dry. This is just plastic. It's got a weight in it, metal weight, and then it's plastic. And as it spins, centrifugal force throws these weights and they run up. And as they run up, they run higher. This is the other end. So as those weights fly out, these two parts separate like that. And as they separate, this thing moves from this diameter, it will move closer. So essentially changing the diameter. At the moment the belt will run on the inside, but as this thing closes, it forces the belt to run higher and higher, which basically increases this thing's diameter, and that's how you get your variable speed. So like I said, these things generally run dry, but I like to just put a little bit of, very light amount of grease in it. It's just more for extra, little bit of lubing. It would not help to pack it with grease because the thing spins quite fast, so once again centrifugal force, you just throw it out. Any too much grease you pack in there would just be thrown straight out. Part will then run like that. Like I said, as those weights fly out, this thing will move in or back out again. Okay, let's go put this all back on the quad. Right, rear drive goes on first. can see the site there, so you can watch it with me. I will slightly overfill it because it did drain the oil. Once you drain the oil completely and clean, it's always good practice to slightly overfill it, or alternatively top it up a bit more at a later stage. There, the liquid's starting to appear. That's perfect for now.